Greetings Hex and Counter players, and welcome to my look at Wargame Design Studio, Panzer Campaigns, Moscow 42 and the Fall Kreml Expansion. There are 15 unique Fall Kreml scenarios and there are 6 AI variants of the released 15 summer scenarios, bringing the summer scenario count to 21. Fall Kreml, or Operation Kremlin, is considered to be one of the most successful deception campaigns in history. Planning for the German 1942 summer offensive began in December 1941. Hitler decided that the most decisive blow would be in southern Russia. The Ukrainian breadbasket and the Caucasus oil fields being the primary targets. The capture of these areas would severely curtail the Soviets' ability to continue the war. The southern operation was named Fall Blau, Operation Blue. Stalin was convinced that Moscow would be the goal of the Axis summer offensive and positioned nearly 60% of Soviet forces in front of the capital. The Soviets had built 3 belts of defence, the first on the existing front line, the second along the Oka and Upper rivers, and finally in Moscow itself. What if Fall Kreml was real? Could the Germans have captured Moscow on the second attempt? His Group von Weichs would lead and be the strongest formation in the Fall Kreml offensive. His Group von Weichs can join his Group Mitt in the north, centre or south of its frontage. A fourth scenario is called North Maximum Effort. The 1st and 5th Panzer Divisions plus the 14th Motorised Infantry Division join the opening attacks. Detailed notes are provided for each of these variations in the attached manual. To get a taste of the Fall Kreml action, we're going to have a look at scenario A0628-10 Barsuki, to the green fields beyond, Axis human player. The 48th Panzer Corps was the point of the spear. The Corps was to attack southeast, quickly clearing the Soviet emplacements and push into the open terrain beyond. It was imperative to move with all haste, as 2nd Panzer Army was launching an identical assault from the south with the aim of trapping all Soviet forces west of the Oka River. Size medium, turns 36. Right, so a pretty standard setup. And the rules are what I would call, by contemporary standards, the standard 10 options. Well, we drew the short straw with the storm conditions. So when a storm occurs, it will last the entire day and possibly additional days. During a storm, the following effects occur. Movement costs are doubled, visibility is reduced to 1 hex, all attack and assault values are reduced by half, all air missions are prohibited, and amphibious, airborne and glider reinforcements are prohibited. So the big one there for us are the attack and assault values being reduced at a time when we want to break through the Soviet line. So this is going to cause us all sorts of issues. This is the Barsuki map. The Germans are arriving on the map from the northwest and are generally trying to move towards the southeast. The map has a number of 100 point, 500 point and 1000 point victory locations. Victory locations being Mironovo, and in the south Meshkovsk, plus some of the 500 pointers. So the front line is currently located in a area of more dense forest and minimal open areas, but once we break through the front line, there's plenty of open terrain to the rear. If we action the lock highlight, you'll notice that the 24th Panzer Division and the 13th Army Corps are currently being held back, haven't been released to us, but they will be in the game. So if we have a closer look, we have this formation in the north, which is the 45th Infantry Division. The initial setup is inviting us to cross over here. This is a Bridger unit. Fight our way through these minefields and then try and fight our way through all this forest to get down here to Yukhanov. I'm not sure if we'll go that way. I might just get all these guys and try and push them through down here. This blue unit's quite interesting. It's the SS Infantry Brigade 1, and this was the only SS unit that would have taken part in Fall Kreml. Moving down our list here, you can see I've moved this engineer unit here forward 1 hex, so you can see the defence, which is in a bunker and also in a forest. So there's a 40% benefit there, plus another 15 points added onto their defence. So they're going to be really hard to knock out. As we move our engineers onto the board, and I usually put them on foot, we'll put him in this one here for instance. So you can see there the bunkers are basically all the way down. This one here is in the forest and this one's in the clear. So my plan at this stage will be to try and focus my attack on the clear bunkers, because we're in storm conditions, as I mentioned, which means that our assault values are reduced by 50%. So we're going to have to try and get as many factors as we can in our favour. So we come further down the map, and I'll move this one in to this clear hex here, or why not? So forest hex, that's a clear hex, so that's what we'll be looking for. So having a look at the map, it has these paved roads in the red. Now they're usually your normal axis of advance for obvious reasons, and we'll be trying to clear those paved roads for our panzer divisions. Also of interest, I think, of this area here in the middle, which has these secondary roads, and as you will see, they are similarly defended by the Russians in bunkers. This one's a clear hex, so he'll be one of our priorities to try and get him out of the way so we can move our panzer divisions down these roads. Right, so we get to this very interesting section of the map here with these 1-point minefields, which at first may seem to be reasonably interesting, but given all the Russians will be in bunkers and will be attacking uphill, and that elevation penalty plus all the other penalties we have at the moment makes them incredibly difficult to push aside. So what we need to decide is, do we push left or right with these remaining yellow divisions, which has a very wide frontage. Inevitably this lot up here in the north sort of gravitate towards the northern part of the map and try and clear that through that zone where this Russian unit is, and the other half move more towards the south, towards that 500 pointer. So unfortunately, usually I like keeping the divisions together for all the obvious benefits that provides. So meanwhile, further to the west of the map, we have this quite awkward 500 pointer. A combination of minefields and terrain here make this, and slightly disjointed forces, I feel, make this really quite difficult. As you see, we have that red paved road there, so that's our axis of advance that we really would like to clear, but it certainly is very hard work. So I'll probably move some more of my engineers down towards the 500 pointer and see if we can find some way of breaking through north of the 500 pointer, and with these guys right here, over here in the west, hopefully they'll be able to make a run around and perhaps surround it. But that's easier said than done, given the amount of forest that's there and the amount of Soviet units. So this is a very interesting challenge for the German player, and given the Russian units are in bunkers, the AI doesn't really have a great deal to do other than stay put and fire their plentiful artillery at us. So what I'll do now is just moving some of my miscellaneous units down. It's always a good habit to move your headquarters more towards the front. Sometimes they start in unusual positions and it makes some units unsupported, so you need to get them in supply. Not so much in this case. And you can see what's happening with our movement as well, with this storm situation being halved. So it's certainly going to delay our breakthrough of this front line, I would suggest. Okay, the 88th Infantry Division, move them down. Also with the bunkers, it's almost pointless, I think, firing the artillery at them, so I generally hold back the artillery for as long as I can. I usually like to wait till I push the unit out of the bunker and then give the that unit full blast with the artillery then. But in a moment what I'll do is I'll go away and I'll complete the first turn, come back and give you a bit of a brief on what I decided to do, and we'll go from there. Welcome back. So in the end I went with a fairly conservative first move. As I mentioned, the SS guys are moving down along this line here, these light blue ones, and the goal for them will be to eventually try and assault that hex there, which is a bunker in a clear hex. So I'll get another engineer unit up to clear this hex here. So once again, trying to clear the 3 hexes around it so that I can then assault it. I appreciate I could move my units in there straight away, but with the storm weather, I think I'm going to probably take more losses as it is, as opposed to say if it was normal conditions. So I'm trying to be, I think, a little bit more conservative, as I say. Further down here, nothing too exciting. This engineer's on a 2 minefield. Eventually I want to clear these 3 around here so I can have a go at this bunker in a clear hex. Ditto down here, another bunker in a clear hex. As I mentioned, I'm going to try and take this hex, or clear this hex here, so that I can have a go at that one. And once again, just trying to clear as many hexes around it as possible to get as many assault opportunities as I can. I'm moving most of these green ones. Where's the headquarters unit? I lost his headquarters for the moment. 377 could be him. Yep, 377. They're sort of congregating around this area here. Nothing too exciting there, as I say. Obviously for that clear hex there. I'm moving some engineer units along so they can clear that hex there and that one there, because we have the peninsula there on the same hex, so we can try and get these 800 and 800 units to do an assault. Just while we're on that, we'll have a look at the parameter dialogue. So the maximum we can have in a hex is 1500 men. So that means we can have 1500 men in an assault from one hex. So I did decide to get these guys to help out on this side, and the rest of these guys I'm moving down to prepare for clear this minefield here, and I think there'll end up being a bunker in here. So I'm really trying to get along this area here to try and have a decent go at this one here in the forest, although I'm not overly confident about that fact. And as we go further to the left or the west of the map, these guys pretty standard, just push them straight forward. We'll see if we can get this hex in particular and have a go at these guys as well. So that's about the state of the nation. So let's just hit the next turn and see what the AI does. I have the AI on fast speed, so you won't hear any sound. What we're really looking for is 13. Gee, that was pretty expensive. Off our engineers. So what we don't want at this stage is any of our engineers to be disrupted, because that means they won't be able to clear the hex. I think most of our engineers are like B quality engineers, so they usually get the job done if they don't get disrupted. You remember from the briefing, time is supposed to be of the essence, but I think that was before this storm hit. It's just inevitable we're going to lose a number of turns. Oh, right, so there was one disruption. So this assaulting a bunker formation isn't the most exciting viewing. But you can see we've had pretty good result, I think, with our clearing of the mines. Okay, and okay, we had 2 engineers got It's one broken out of 2. So they would have been broken, and then they come up in the morale roll. But that'll mean that 2 hexes didn't get a mine cleared. Right, so let's go back to the north of the map. So this chap here did a good job. He managed to clear the hex. So we might get him and put him there. Now this guy here, 900 guy, he's going to move up to there. This guy here, okay, now this engineer here, I'm going to actually get him to dig in and try and give us some protection when we eventually go in there to prepare for the assault. Unfortunately, this one here wasn't cleared. That's a real blow. Okay, so I'll move this engineer up. So this guy here, his mission in the next turn will be to clear that hex there. Now I mentioned in an assault we can have 1500 in an assault. So we have 900 there at the moment. Then if we use our combined breakdown tool, so 675 and 900, that's just 75 too many. So there you go, 450. So when we want to, so I'll move this one over to here. You can't get in there because of the engineer, I think. Right, so anyway, the idea is that you get a 900 and a 450 together, and away they can go. So with these guys here, we'll join them back up. So we've now got 2 450s rather than the one 900, and the goal is then to join them up with the 900 later on so they can have a reasonable assault, because we'll need those sorts of numbers to have success when we've got only half assault factors being counted. This guy here, we just got to hope he clears that minefield at this stage, and this guy can go into there. You can come around there. Now this guy here, he was one of the chaps who was disrupted and then came back, so he still has the 2 mines to clear. So we moved this guy up on foot last turn, so we can move him in there to clear that minefield. This was a 2, so he's got 1 to go. So what we need to do now is get, so these ones are 800, so 800 and 600 is 1400, so that's pretty good. So what we'll do is 800 there, move the 600 into there, so eventually they'll move into there and they'll be ready to assault this chap here. So there's 800 there. Do we have another one? Oh, there we go, 800 there, 800 and 600. Actually, we could just move him into there. Alright, okay, that's the engineer unit there, so we can move him into there. Right, so we have 1400 points there, ready to assault this guy in the next turn. 200. Right, so this guy's in here. So what we might do is get him to dig in. This guy here, he can dig in. He is an 800, so he can move into there, or into there, into there. Grab the 600. Okay, he can't quite move in there just yet, can he? That's the problem of doing it this way. Well, the other way is just to not dig in, I suppose. Right. So it's 200, and that's an 800. 800 back there, so he can move along to there. That's 1,000. Move him to there. This engineer will move him to there. And we'll keep moving these guys along. Let's see now. I guess that I can go into there. Get to there. I can go there. And this guy can move to there. Right, so what we're doing is setting up our units for the next turn so they can begin the assault phase. And sometimes when you have really difficult areas, I like to try and dig in to give my assaulting units a bit of protection so they don't get disrupted before they attack. Right, so this guy here, okay, I'll try and get him to dig in. So we've got an 800 there. Okay, so I'll put him up there. This guy, I'm going to try and dig him in. So there's an 800 and a 200. That's 1,000. I guess what I could do is move him to there. Him to there. He's digging. This guy can, on foot, he can move to there. He's digging in. And he's an 800, so he's obviously going to be part of my assault force, maybe with this one here. In fact, I'll break him down. Yeah, so I can move him to there, and I can move this 200 guy across to here if I have to. Okay, engineer. Alright, can't do much with that at the moment. Leave him there. Right, so he's clear. So I can't assault with that one, so with this one I might as well get him to dig in. 800, so he can go to, I'll get this guy to dig in. He can dig. can move forward. And that is just about that, other than these miscellaneous turns. Oh, I should have went on the road, shouldn't I? Never mind. Put him down there. Move him down there. Okay, that will do us for this turn, I think. We're getting set up for this guy here. Next turn this engineer will go in there. I should have probably moved him across, but that's the way it goes. Right, that will do. So I'm taking a lot of time, but I'm trying to set up a bunch of moves. We'll see how it pans out. So there we go. Looks like a fairly successful clearing of mines. And 7 improved their positions. There we go. So it looks like we didn't get any disrupted, so that's good. And we've been able to dig in, so that's been a good result. So we might as well go back to the north of the map and go from there. So I'll grab this one here. Alt key down, right mouse button. Okay, right. Most important move up here is getting these engineers in here. Right, so he can. Now, if I dig in, I can't assault him the next turn. But I can't because could do. That's okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get this guy to dig in. This guy is a 900. Put him on foot. Move him in. So, as he is 900, we need a partner for him, and our best partner at this stage is a 450, I think. So, second click, there we go. We can put those two guys together, and move him in there. So next turn, these guys can have a shot at assaulting this hex here. So I'll move one down to there, one up to there. Hopefully we'll get this minefield cleared. We can put those guys in there, and then it's shoot up that guy time. So I like the idea of concentrating these blue guys together. me. Okay. Rightio. They've already moved. I wonder if I turn them off, I might be able to go Alt. So that's the SS unit. This guy here, he's still got one to go. So what we might do is go 800 into it, 200 and 800 and 600. So we could put, what I might do is get him to dig. I'll get him to dig. He's digging in, good. And then we can go 600. 600 and 800 is 1400, so that's a pretty good quality assault. One engineer we can get to dig. The other engineer I will take out, I think. Oops. Yep. And he's an 800, so he can go in there. He's 800 and a 600. He's an engineer, so he can dig. And I'm wondering, can I move this guy in? Oh, rats. I was hoping I could, but it doesn't look like I can. Okay, so 200 guy. I'm going to move him into here. Move this engineer, I'm going to cancel his digging in order and get him clearing the mines in that hex there. Okay, so I might just keep this guy digging. Now, our first assault after all this time. I'm not hopeful, but we'll see. $36 for 17. Right, that engineer there, yep, he's in there. Okay, so we've got an 800 and we've got 1,000. We've got 2 engineers, so he can dig. And the other one can move back there, I hope. Yep. And the 800, he can move forward. Oh, rats, he's a green one. Didn't really want that green one to be there. What's this one up here? He's a green one, okay. Right, so 800, he can go into there. 600, he can go into there. Oh, he can't go in there with the... Okay. Oh, what I've got to do is move this one in. Oh, rats. Okay. He can dig. He can dig. 800. Alright, so these ones here. Now, move you there. You can dig. These two guys here, they can go in there. Next turn, these two guys can move into there for a side. Oh, no, I'm going to move them this side, aren't I? So he can dig. Don't think I can. Oh, rats. Didn't really want to do that. Rum. Okay, I'll leave those there. Okay, so over here we've got 1,000. And oh, okay, so right, so what we might have to do, 600 and 800. That is going to be hard work. Okay. Keep him digging. And I'll keep him digging for the moment. Can't imagine these guys will do much good by themselves. I'll have a go. So this is only 1,000. Oh, wasn't too bad. And that is the turn. See? So I'm afraid that is it. We had our first assaults going in. Not too wonderfully successful at this stage, but at least we're up to the assault stage. Whether you think all that preparation is worth it or not, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. Got that the wrong way or not? Okay, 24th Panzer Division has been released to us and we're nowhere near breaking through the front line, so that can't be a good sign. Okay, so when I come back for episode 2, it will be a critical turn as some of these long-awaited assaults take place and we see if we can break down this Soviet defense.